It's crazy they were trying to cancel him with just like pure evidence of him just getting a ton of pussy. It was just like evidence of him like doing masterful balancing acts, like saying that he was at Christmas with his family and he was really banging another chick. Just crazy great stuff like that.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, but you know what? He doesn't have any vices. That's his vice, sex.
I wonder what the Duc de Richelieu would think about that.
Oh, he'd love it. I'm sure he'd love it.
The Duke, I'm still reading
I was told my
Robert
dad
Greene's
about him, dude.
Seduction. You told him about Duc de Richelieu?
Yeah, I was telling him you were doing a book. We're trying to do a video on the greatest, ladies' men of all time. He mentioned Casanova before. I think, Casanova in there? Yeah, he's a fan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
how do you feel about the Duke?
Oh, he loved it. He asked where he was from. He's French.
Yeah,
I told him he was French. He's like, of course, yeah.
Or his title was. I'm not sure because sometimes they marry into the aristocracy of a certain place. Yeah. I need to look him up more in particular, but I'm pretty sure in the book Seduction, Duc de Richelieu buys a house next to a chick and tunnels into her house to start fucking her, dude. That's
commitment, man.
That's romance, dude. See, Jesse, your chick is French. You would lose her in 2 seconds if Duc de Richelieu was still around.
Negative. I don't really think so.
He would buy the condo next to yours, and he would drill a hole in the wall. And your chick would conceal it with a painting.
You think there's like to be French guys at the bar like, oh, Duc de Richelieu, he's moved in next door.
Dude, the book Seduction is making me realize, like, it's his approach in writing the book. Robert Greene, who's a mainstream author. It's not like he's some manosphere sneako type dude.
Mm-hmm.
He is so amoral in the way he writes it. Well, first of all, he refers to people you're trying to seduce as victims, which some might see as a little problematic. But then also there's like no cautioning against going after people who are in relationships or married people. And he shares just countless historical anecdotes about married women falling to people like Duc de Richelieu.
I mean, in many ways, I feel like internally you feel like any woman that hooks up with me is a victim, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, anybody who sits next to you in a car is the victim.
Oh.
That's a body odor joke, people, because he smells.
You know, it's gotten to the point where there are fans. The only little sliver of female fans that we got, Danny, some of them do think that I actually smell. You know, right? So I'm going to make you clear this up.
Olfactory.
Clear it up on the podcast right now. Do I smell?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you haven't winged, you know what? You haven't wingman me since like UCLA video, dude. It's time for you to wingman me again. All right. It's time for you to wear. Actually, you did. You've wingmanned me quite a few times since then.
I saw you talking to a girl recently. It was while we were in Boston at a bar, and I tapped one of the fans on the shoulder. I was like, "Hey, if we were filming right now, that girl would think Leo has syphilis."
Yeah, I think he came up and told us. I think he came up and said that I had syphilis to the woman.
Maybe I didn't tell him to.
I think by accident it helped me because I was like, she's like, "Do you know that guy?" I was like, "No, he's a fan. He's a fan."
That's a good move.
He's a fan.
That's a good move. I wonder what the Duc de Richelieu would do. That's my guy. I'm going to be the fucking Duke. I got to work on my fucked up French accent. I don't think I've ever attempted that.
We got to try to put ourselves in his shoes on, like, say he time traveled, and what would he do in the modern bar? I think he'd probably find a way to have a table because he's rich, right?
Yeah, he's a Duke. I imagine he talks in a high voice. He's, I am the Duc de Richelieu.
Smokes cigarettes, and he's probably.
I imagine he prances around on his tiptoes with curled claws, kind of shisty.
A lot of rings on.
He definitely has a cape. He's got a cape, and he wears satin tights.
Mustache. He's got a mustache.
That's the Duc de Richelieu right there.
Oh,
look, he's got tights. He's wearing a white wig.
Oh, dude, the guy's a pimp.
He would dress up like a bum, too. This is my favorite move. He would dress up like a bum to follow girls around.
Dude, what? And then he'd be like, I'm the Duke. You're like, what would he then?
Because he would fuck with chicks' worlds. Like, so all the girls knew he was a notorious rake, which is Robert Greene's term for a playboy. And everybody in the court would warn chicks, stay away from the Duc de Richelieu. He's a scumbag. He's going to fuck you and chuck you. All he cares about is young pussy, and he's always going to find a younger pussy to replace you with. So what he would do is he would start slipping a note, not to the girl, but to the girl's chaperone. So she would read a note by the Duc de Richelieu. Oh, you struck my fancy. I thought you were quite beautiful. Je ne sais toi. I had to throw in a French phrase. And then what he would do to keep infiltrating their world, because maybe they brush off the letter, they don't really do anything, he shows up in the park as a fucking beggar. And he waves at him. And they're like, is that the fucking Duc de Richelieu? But before they can figure it out, he's gone. He's collecting cans. He's fucking taking his shit behind a tree.
Wow.
And then back in the court, maybe he pulls out a fiddle and he's a great violinist. They're like, wow, like this guy, there's so many layers to Duc de Richelieu. I feel like I'm seeing him everywhere, because he'd show up in disguises, keep revealing new traits and skills.
Wow.
He was a consummate seducer.
Wow. That's awesome. He would have been canceled in the Me Too movement 100%.
Duc de Richelieu?
Yeah, 100%. Well, it would have been a woman who was like, he dressed up like a homeless guy. And
yeah, he bought a condo next to mine and tunneled into my apartment.
Tunneled into my apartment.
He popped up with a shovel and a pile of dirt. He's like, hey, I am the Duc de Richelieu, your new neighbor.
We had sex, but you know.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's the Duc de Richelieu. That's how they fucking did it back then.
There is something to being remembered as a ladies' man. I mean, is there any better honor to die and then to know that for the remainder of the eight, whenever if they can find a historical account of you, it will be about you getting a ton of pussy.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's not a bad legacy to leave behind. I mean, what else? The Duc de Richelieu. Nobody would know shit about him if he
We're
didn't.
trying to leave a legacy like that around, but ChatGPT is being an asshole because it corrects. Like I ask it, I was like, "Do Leo and Danny get a lot of pussy?" They talk about it a lot on the podcast, but there's no proof. There's no, it's probably part of their bravado and personality. It's really messed up that it would say that about us.
One thing that it emphasizes that we need to get back to in the modern world, and you guys listening should maybe try this out: letter writing. A lot of the biggest pimps letter writers, and one of the techniques it talks about. See, writing a letter is a dangerous move, but what it says is that if your appearance is somewhat banal and just kind of muted, and your interactions with the girl in question aren't all that exciting. Maybe it's at work that you see her. Maybe you see her at a coffee shop and you can't really be like, oh, I think you're so beautiful. You can't actually get into anything too seductive. It says letters are a great way to, it's the underside, the submerged part of the ice cube of seduction. And that's when you can start expressing your feelings for her, talk about how she makes you feel. Women, what do bitches love more than anything? Romance novels. And you can tap into that side of that part of a woman's brain that gets excited by poetry and metaphor and things like that.
So just like you think like hard eyes and like you got a nice fat ass, like just like on a story. What do you think?
I think Robert Greene would say that was a barbaric seduction. One of the things he talks about too is indirect approach, which is interesting, which is I've never been much of an indirect approacher. But yeah, he talks about being somewhat ambiguous and not really letting your intentions be known. And then bam, you hit him with a letter. And that's a great strategy. The problem, I feel like so many girls would fucking melt if you gave them a handwritten, well-written love letter.
I mean, yeah, I would say like when the only time I got to experience a little bit of that, because there were basically, I would say like 10% of the people in my high school had cell phones. So note writing in class was big, and writing like a long note to the girl that you liked was actually big too. And I think I was a better writer in high school than I am now, if I'm being completely honest. That's the only time I did some high level reading. It was really when, AP English, they were making me read some good stuff, But yeah, I had to write some letters, and it was beautiful. But how would you do it in today's world? It's still just a handwritten letter, I guess, and then you have to see her in person.
Yeah, I thought about it. There's some hot chicks in the jiu-jitsu world, and I thought about what if I just hit a chick with a note.
Wow.
The problem is the fear that keeps anybody from sending a note to a coworker or to a chick at your gym is what if she just tells everybody you gave her a fucking note and starts showing it around? That you'd have to change gyms or quit your job.
Yeah, my worst. Yeah, I think like she'd put it on her story, it'd go viral, and like Barstool Sports picks it up, and they're like, "Get a load of this guy! Look what he wrote to this chick."
But if you wrote a good note and she shared it,
yeah,
if the note is well written enough, I feel like a lot of girls would be like, "Oh, that's super romantic. That guy's awesome. Why does she shame this guy?"
In the movie Sleepless in Seattle, he kind of like opens up his heart. He's like a writer, and he like shares like his love for his ex-wife that had died on the radio, and then all of a sudden like women are just going crazy for him. It could be something like that where you could get, it would be great if she shared it. You should do it. I know which girl you're talking about.
Well, there's
You get a little blood in the old.
I don't know what it is, but there are a lot of attractive girls that do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so it's not.
Do you ever get a little blood in the old dong when you're rolling with these girls?
No.
Yeah, you're just going to say that now just in case any of the in the community see it.
I wear a cup when I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
So it keeps it down.
So I don't. No. I am very professional, and I spend most of my time absolutely dominating my rival males in the class. Okay, I'm not trying to talk to chicks.
I've heard. There's people that tell me that you go and dominate in there. Mainly a comedian that is. Yeah, he's kind of like he's a friend of ours, but you've dominated him a couple times. Really hardcore.
Sometimes I got to dominate some people.
He was showing. Yeah. I know what you're doing, but okay. But would there be a scenario where in class you would remove the cup? Before, what if you remove the cup just right before, rolling with one of these girls? You think that would be a form of sexual harassment?
You mean if I put a halt to the class?
Yeah, you go, wait up, everybody.
I was like, tempo, which I think is the Portuguese word for stop.
Oh, okay. Tiempo in Spanish is time. Okay. I wonder if it's the same.
Time, yeah, maybe
40% of Portuguese is like Spanish.
Whatever. It's probably the same. They probably just say tempo, they mean stop because time is up. But I'll be like, tempo. And then I'll just fucking pull my cup out when I've been partnered up with one of the girls, lick it and throw it on the ground. And then just grab my junk and I'll go right into just an open guard.
Oh.
Dead bug position.
Oh.
I will not do that.
That'd be unbelievable, though.
I'm a